Wow.
Hey, y'all.
We're back. Welcome to NightCap with the doctors. Of course, I am honored to be the second to Dr. Sharice. We don't even have to put the last part, just Dr. Sharice. That by itself is amazing. Dr. Sharice. Hey, Dr. Sharice.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good.
You know what? It's so funny. Every time you do like this, I see Madison. Every time you do like this, I see Madison. Tell us about your day before we jump into this incredible 2 week. This incredible 2 weeks that we got. Wow. That says a lot.
It does.
What does that say? What does that say?
Oh man, today was a great day, productive day, but a terrifying day because I did COVID vaccines all day.
Wow.
So
okay.
Yeah.
So you were rocking and rolling today.
Rocking and rolling all day.
I hear you. Well, I tell you this though, but the work you're doing is absolutely amazing, and we're grateful for it. And it's always good to have your own personal pharmacist in your life, and so we're excited. Hey, listen, everybody, do us a favor as we ask you every week to share this with somebody. And like it, and because honestly, we at NightCap believe that NightCap is one of the most significant things happening on Facebook now. And we know that there may be others who get more views in the moment, but nobody has more content. And so we're okay. So you just go start drinking water on
I'm parched.
Okay. You're parched.
Yeah.
Listen. After doing over 60 vaccinations personally, you could drink something else if you want. I mean, like Kool-Aid or something. Kool-Aid. Okay. So listen, everybody. Huh?
How was your day?
You know what? I'm in an amazing week. I can't really talk about it all, but I am in such an amazing week. And I got like 80 things, and so so I've launched a new company. Well, actually, Ray and I have launched a new company.
Yay!
It's called Ray, I'm putting our business out there. It's called EIP, Excellence in Publishing. Excellence in Publishing. We are starting our own publishing company, and then one of my sons and I and one of our college classmates have launched a new business. And so just this week, 2 businesses were incorporated. And so I now have about 6 or 7 businesses, nonprofits, and initiatives going on. So I'm rocking and rolling, man. Listen, I ain't scared of nobody but failure. The only thing that scares me is failure. Challenges and risks don't scare me. So how often are you on social media during the course of the day?
Not often.
Well, that's because you're vaccinating half of the white population in Jacksonville. So that part right there. When you're off work, how many minutes, seconds, hours are you on?
When I'm off work, I'm probably on social media. Oh, that's not a good question to ask me because when I'm off work, I probably spend about a max of maybe 3 hours on social media, and that's over a span of 3 days. If I'm off Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'll probably spend about 3 hours on social media. Okay. Maybe about an hour. I'm not really a social media person. Well, let me say this. There are seasons when I have spurts of social media addiction, when it becomes a competitive priority. And then there are seasons where it is not a priority. Like I don't want to have social media a part of my life because it tends to influence my mood in certain seasons. So I have to be careful.
I hear you. It's interesting. Tonight and next week, we're going to be dealing with social media. And first of all, its impact on relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And because, it's crazy. Social media has become a place where people date. where people date. And then next week we're going to talk about social media and its impact on mental health. So it's just kind of interesting. So tonight we have two amazing and creative people, two very insightful people. One is she is, well, you know what? I'm going to let her tell you who she is.
Yes.
Because she's doing a whole lot of stuff. I could talk about it, but I will say this. I consider her one of my spiritual daughters. She's married to one of my spiritual sons, and they are amazing. She is presently managing all of the social media and graphics for St. Paul, and she does some stuff for me. Her work is amazing. Her husband just says she's the greatest woman I know. Of course, she would say that, and you should. And so we want to welcome right now Lady K, all classy. There she is, Kanetta Moore. I pronounce the name wrong all the time. So we are excited about her, about Lady K. We're so excited. She is a game changer in terms of doing ministry and helping people understand. And she's got a unique perspective. Plus, she's a gangster, y'all. I'm not going to tell you the story. I will let her tell the story. But she's a beast. She ain't scared of nobody. And so I would encourage you not to cross her because you're going to pay for it. That's all I'm going to say. And then, listen, his claim to fame is that he's my best friend. That's, and I know people get a serious. Exactly. That's the look now. He's preached for me for the last, 20 years of my anniversary, right? And so he preached my annual anniversary, right? And so he's like, so people get sick of us. Hey, my name's Derek Triplett. I'm John Gunn's best friend. Hey, my name's John Gunn. I'm Derek Triplett's best friend. It is the most sickening bromance ever. And nobody better not touch it. The only person who rivals Derek Triplett is my wife. So my wife is first, then there's Derek Triplett. And so welcome, Bishop Derek Triplett.
Glad to be here. Good evening to everybody.
I'm not going to say what I'm going to call you. We'll talk about that later. So, Cherise, we got two amazing guests. Amazing guests. Two amazing guests. Well, we're down to one amazing guest now. The other one is coming back very soon. So tonight's informal, and so we're not doing the Bishop John Gunn's Bishop Derek Triplett thing. And plus with that hat on, you don't look like you're Bishop Derek Triplett anyway. So relationships, man. Define for us what a healthy relationship looks like. Give us characteristics of a healthy relationship.
Wow. It depends. it really depends. It depends. What works for some people in a very healthy way doesn't necessarily work for other people. But some of the universal components are, is it a match? And is it a match? And if we're talking about romantic relationships, people have to be two pieces of the same puzzle, not two slices of the same pie. So is it a match? Do they match? Secondly, do they have part of them matching? Do they have the capacity and desire to meet each other's needs and expectations? Because I can have the desire to meet my partner's expectations and needs, but not the capacity. Or I can have the capacity, I just don't want to do that. So it has to be both the desire and the capacity to meet each other's expectation. And then I guess a third one would be the ability to manage conflict well. Because if you can't, conflict will kill your relationship. It's funny how people argue. Sharing this with some people, I'm like, y'all fighting like y'all don't want to be together after this fight.
Wow.
So you have to fight with the understanding that you still want to be together after this fight. So I would just throw those things out there just off the bat. Is it a match? Do you have the capacity to meet each other's needs and expectations? Do you have the desire to meet each other's needs and expectations? And do you manage conflict well together? Are you a good mix? We can start there.
Lady K, why is social media so important to the world right now?
It's how most people connect. I don't think many people saw anything like not just the coronavirus, but the necessity to communicate in a digital space, because it was not, a big thing. The biggest bang we had was email. But with the need, when we think of, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, people have to have that human interaction, and people have to have that connection with other people. And social media has been the most convenient and the fastest way to fulfill that need for most.
Wow. So Sharice, let's take these two. We got a relationship definition and we got a social media definition. How do we bridge these two, and what does it mean when we talk about social media and relationships?
Well, I think social media is relational. You can't, it's relational. That's why you have friends. That's why you have followers. It may not be a connection, but it is relational. And it's based off of relationships. And, most of the time, I think social media provides a way for people to escape reality. And it's a way to escape reality in relationships.
Wow. That's actually pretty good. So Triple Lady K, let's make the bridge. What is social media's impact on relationships, and what is relationships' impact on social media? See, I've got really good at asking questions. I like the
question. Came out the gate, Bishop.
Am I good at this?
Very.
Just read the shirt. My wife has an awesome husband. Okay, go ahead. So, and she's watching, so I wore this shirt because here's what's deep. Y'all want to know something deep? My wife and I think we reconnected through social media, like years ago. I mean, we have different versions of it, but my version tends to be the right one. But it's interesting. So when I think of social media, it's kind of strange to think of its impact on relationships. So what does social media's impact on relationship, and what is a relationship's impact on social media? Anybody jump in?
I would say social media's impact on relationships, I think about that with a negative connotation. And I say that because it's so easy to compare, and not in just, romantic, but in platonic relationships as well. And comparison will kill your stuff, and it'll keep an ongoing resentment there. But as Sharice was saying, people have the need to relate. So that is why they, use social media and use it so often. So I think that relationships impact on social media gives people, for some odd reason, something to aspire to. And as, I don't want to say as an entrepreneur, I've realized that about people. So I have tried to use my platform to give people something to aspire to that is authentic. because if I only tell you this about my relationship or my friendship, you start comparing my stuff to the people who really do care about you and really do love you. And I feel like relationships are at their best over time, and they are proven with time. So if I am telling you about someone I've been rocking with, my homegirl, for 25 years, and you expect someone you just met a year ago to meet you at that same level, it will essentially be the demise of that relationship. So I really think that people have to be realistic when they see things on social media, because people say it all the time, but social media is really the highlight reels, because nobody wakes up and says, hey, I'm about to post how I cussed my husband out last night. You know, nobody does that. I mean, they may, but that's in poor taste. So I think that we have to really fix our expectations as they surround what we do on social, as it pertains to our relationships, friendships, etc.
That's good. So I was gonna say that social media sets up, same thing, unrealistic expectations in relationships. Very unrealistic. No one is showing you the bad; they're all showing you the good. And so, for someone that does not do relationships well, platonic and or intimate relationships, it gives you a falsehood. It's a fallacy. And so you go into relationships wanting what you see on social media.
Trip, how do you, in light of all of this, because you spend a lot of time writing about relationships, talking about relationships, you actually do like radio shows, you do TV segments on relationships. Over the years, how have you understood the impact of social media on relationships?
I think it's first generational.
Mm.
The different generations approach it differently. And I think one of the mistakes that has been made is that that the rules and the protocols of social media in relationship are spanning the generations in ways that don't make sense. So I see people my age trying to maintain social media rules in relationships that are really for people in their 20s. But yet there's no age limit on the rules. So you hear stuff like you need to own up to the relationship on social media. You are it ain't real till it's social media real. I'm like, what? Yeah. Huh? And so a few weeks ago I put the top 12 or top 10 reasons why people post stuff, and one of the reasons was to please their partner. I have to post this in order to please my partner. So it's the rules are interesting. I think the other piece, and they've talked about, I love the phrase highlight reels, that people are giving their highlight reels. It's interesting. We get a post a few days ago that A-Rod and J-Lo have broken up. So then now they got to come back 3 days later and post, no, we working through some stuff, but we haven't broken. It's like, and so now people have to, they feel like they owe their social media audience whatever the true indications are of their relationship. So it's really, really strange. I think Dr. Cherie said earlier that social media is not reality. And then Lady K says, but then people, if we know it's not reality, then why are we using it as a basis of relationship? If you know it ain't real, but yet you compare it to what other people have. So I think it's really, in many cases, unnecessarily negative, because people are to be More grown than that.
That part.
People really ought to be more grown than that. And the last thing I'll throw out there is, I think it's negatively affected communication. And if y'all see me keep turning, I'm home alone except for my dog, and he decided to wake up. And so I'm trying to keep him from destroying my office as we are online here. Right, Graham? So here we are. I think it's real. It's crazy that that a communication tool has just helped destroy communication. It's such an oxymoron.
It is. It is.
You know, it's interesting, and I'm listening to all of you, and Sharice, the thing that's so intriguing about this conversational topic for me is the fact that I think most people who employ social media do so to try to manipulate people's opinions of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I totally agree.
So I'm trying to shape how you view me.
Yes.
And in many ways, people have, and I'll acknowledge it, people have reinvented themselves through the use of social media. In some way, I think I did. And I mean, this is a transparent moment, but I think that in some way, when you want to change the messaging about who you are, you change what you post. Like I know some people ain't spiritual, but every time they post something, they spiritual. And it's like I've grown exhausted with you being something that you're really not. And so as we look at the impact of relationships, and one of the things I started doing was I started reading some of the statistical studies done about social media. And it's interesting that they suggest that almost 2 billion people engage in some form of social media.
Yes.
Every month.
Yes.
And so why is it so impactful? Why has it become so impactful on our relationships though? Because you're right. I mean, Trip, I go back to what you said. I think you said it. It's awkward that so many of us feel the pressure to post something on our birthdays. Like this year.
Like I'm gonna do on Sunday.
Really? Whose birthday?
Mine.
Okay. Well, I got
my cash out.
As you should.
Well, okay. All right. That was not where we were going with this, but okay. So what's okay. We're coming back. We're coming all the way back. But what's scary though is how many people try to paint their marriage like it's really good. And then you hear they're getting divorced, but they just posted, this is my boo thing, and I wouldn't trade them, and da. And then you go, but y'all don't really like each other. Yeah, you're muted, Trip. Unmute your life.
Their marriages, their dating situation. It's like, remember the joke that was going around during Valentine's Day? It's like, wait a minute. That ain't the person you were in the plaid pajamas with on Christmas Eve. So the person that made the pajama picture on Christmas Eve didn't even make the Valentine picture. Y'all didn't last 2 months. So it is, which would I think people post too soon.
Wow. People post too soon.
Too soon.
You wouldn't know what I said. I think, and I'll add to that.
Oh, my Lord.
I think people post before they're clear that the relationship is going to work, even married.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because sometimes I think our need to paint the picture of the perfect relationship is for people that we're trying to prove them wrong.
Well, the other part is that some people require it, some partners require it as a sign and statement to all other suitors. I need you to tell your social media, remember the old days of Facebook when you could change your relationship status? Mm-hmm. That's way back when. And so there are people who will require that their partners, let everybody in the world know that you're now attached. And if you refuse to do it, then who you hide me from?
But I would say too that though a lot of it, if I'm okay to say this, and you all would know, the bishops on the show,
you are okay to say it.
It comes from,
it's your show.
A lot of it is abandonment and rejection.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And they use social media to try to fill the void of having some form of being accepted, and even
affirmation.
And so, but the reason why social media drives relationships is because people don't do contact relationship well. But virtual relationship, like I said, creates an escape for me to define or develop whatever type of relationship I want, and also limit how much access of what you know about me, to your point, Bishop. So people will start a Facebook page and delete everything old off the page, so you don't know where they came from. You just see where they are presently, to present themselves to be someone of a greater standard than what they truly are. Likewise in relationships. So we use social media to have that. So someone's having a bad day, they get on social media to talk about their day. And the relationships and connection through social media, people naturally get on, oh, I hope you're feeling better. I hope you're, tell me what's going on, to grab attention. Mm-hmm. Because to do it in personal contact would be too much friction, because they can't do personal contact relationships healthy. So I'll do it virtually to make me feel good, or to speak to the part, because somebody is dealing with the same thing I'm dealing with. And I can use that light spirit of manipulation, that they're going to be drawn into that, and going to feed that rejection, that abandonment, that, lack of self-confidence, all those things.
Let's kind of piggyback on that. Cornetta, as someone where a part of your business brand is social media, right? A part of your business brand. And it's always intrigued me sitting down talking to you about social media, because you really do have a unique understanding of it, your own unique approach to it. As someone who uses social media as a part of your business model, just kind of taking that, what Sharice just said, how is social media employed in your brand to build out relationships, or should it be used to build out relationships?
For me in business, social media works wonders, because I have a content strategy, and that content strategy is to build relationships through psychology. So I trigger people, and people say, oh, I need her, let me go talk to her, and they come through my sales funnel. I do think that there has been an unspoken set of rules that people abide by on social media. So it's that I'm dating somebody for 3 months. When we finally make it official, I'm gonna post a picture of me and him holding hands, so y'all can ask me that whole thing. And the people actually feel like if they have performed an action on social media, that it takes the place of being present. I had a friend, I do have a friend, one of my fraternity brothers. Every year on my birthday, he calls me. And the first 2 years that he started this, I will always be like, you know, Darren, you could just wish me happy birthday on Facebook. But he brought this to my attention. He was like, no, I'm your brother for real. So I'm going to pick up the phone and call you. And that, ever since, you know, he and I had that conversation, it really stood out in my mind that, you know, even when people are dating or married, it's like, okay, if I put this on social media, I don't have to go home and do or say anything because I shared a meme or I did, you know, that does not take the place of being present. And similarly to the things that I tell my clients, every year, Facebook, Instagram is going to have a glitch and they're going to go out for a few hours. It happens like twice a year. When that happens, how are your customers going to talk to you? And this is how I encourage people to have a website or a way that people can contact them off of social media. So the same with relationships. When social media is not there, how are you going to really interact? And people will realize it does not take long. If social media was extracted from our situation, people would realize they don't even know people that they know. You don't even know people. You have not taken the time to really cultivate a relationship. And even with sales, people are only going by what they see. Yes. You know what I'm saying? And that's why even after I close a sale or close a deal with someone, and for my services, people pay, you know, but after I give you the service, after you get your results, I'm going to follow up with you because I don't want you to be viewed as just a sale. And I think that with social media and relationships, we really have to understand that if we are treating people as such, I am nervous to think about how my son is going to have a dating relationship in 15, 20 years. Like I can't imagine that because I know my husband and I, we reconnected on social media. So just really thinking about that is scary to say the least because we have basically replaced social media with being in the moment. Wow. We replaced being in the moment with social media.
Let's talk about being in the moment. You know, social media, like I said, because we don't do relationships well, most people do not communicate well. It grieves me when I go out and I see a beautiful couple at a table and both of them are on social media. Do you not have anything to talk about or stimulating that would cultivate great conversation, bring some awareness about the individual? It really disturbs me. And I was about to tell my age. I am the age that I am. And I get I cannot stand that.
I'm guilty of that. My husband and I have been out and you know, I try. It's like I have to think about it. I have to consciously, like, put my phone down because we are really so involved. And sometimes, for me, it's not always business because I don't try to use that as a cop out. Like I'm doing business because I'm not. You know what I'm saying? Unless I'm responding to emails, etc. But when we think about, you know, I think that breaking bread or eating together is such an intimate thing for me. That's me. So it's like I'm sitting here, you know, breaking bread with you, eating, and you finna pay all this money for all this food I got. And all we can do is scroll on social media. Like we can't even wait an hour or hour and a half to talk to each other. And I think that has really started this perpetuation of poor communicators.
Without question.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead, please.
No, go ahead, Bishop.
It's crazy what you're, because I think earlier, I think Dr. Shanice said that social media by nature is relational. And I agree with that. But just what Quinetta has just said, did I pronounce that right?
You are right, Bishop.
Okay, just what Quinetta has said.
Don't be petty about the pronunciation of the name. Okay, go ahead. I got offended. Well, I'm
see.
No, you're fine.
Okay,
she know what
I just want to be right.
Yeah,
okay.
No, you were right. I just needed to just state that I'm offended that she was all like, "That's right, Bishop. That's right." That's fine. Okay, go ahead.
Y'all, please excuse. I had to change locations.
I see.
Graham needed to go outside, and the lighting is bad down here, and all that. But he's in charge. But because social media has such a negative effect on communication, it actually makes social media more transactional than relational. And what in Quinetta's business, she's going to tell the rest of us, you can't be post and ghost. It can't be transactional if you're going to build a platform business. When it comes to relationships, because it helps us not be communicative, it helps us not share, and it actually makes face-to-face conversation boring and narrow, because one of the things that you have with social media as you're scrolling is variety. You have variety, and that's one of the I teach in relationships. When people ask the question, when am I ready for a relationship, and I say, well, one of the things that indicators that you're ready for a relationship is that you're ready to give up variety. So if you're not ready to give up variety, then use that as an indicator, because you're saying you're going to get the bulk of your interaction from this person, rather than, because we all need the opposite sex. And so even when it's not a sexual situation, I can have this friend, that's my dog, we have a lot of fun, then I have that person for intellectual stimulation. I have that one, she's the prayer warrior. I have that one and so you're getting all of these different, you're getting all of this variety. Whereas in a covenant, intimate relationship that's exclusive, that's exclusive, now I got to give up all the variety. But social media doesn't feed my need for exclusivity. Social media feeds my need for variety, because I just went through 10, 15 different people in the span of a few minutes. And it doesn't have to be in any way sinful. It doesn't have to be in any way clandestine. It's just feeding variety. And so now I got to put my phone down at dinner and just talk to you. But just be interested in what you saying, when I'm used to variety all day.
Let me, it's interesting. Let me,
wow.
Here's the other interesting dynamic to that, is that working from that premise, which is actually very good. So I've been working with them for about 20 years. So I mean, it's paying off.
It's finally starting to pay off. All of your investments. He
stopped with the variety, and he just trusted me. So, but you know what? But the other thing that is tied into that is, most of us are not very good at trusting our decisions relationally, because when you make a relational decision, you have to now sell out to the process of walking with a flawed person. And when those flaws become obvious, or when they infringe upon my peace of mind, now I have to decide if I want to maintain the flawed relationship. And so when I go on social media, I see happy people, or I see successful people, or I see the incredible work Lady K has done to make a client more attractive, right? she's made John Guns look far better than John Guns really is, right? She puts me perfectly on the flyer. I'm turned this way, right? and so even though I'm 270, none of your business, she almost makes me look like I'm too that. Forget you, Sharice, and you my spiritual daughter. I saw your little face, just because you take selfies on social media with your working out gear. Look at all of this, right? See my flesh jumped in. See, you upset me. Your rebel pressure. No, but seriously, and it's funny. I think that it's challenging for us to, one, have to recognize the whole variety dynamic, which is right. But I think it's challenging for us to have to deal with the fact that maybe our addiction to social media is that and Cornetta, you said this earlier, it gives us an escape from the reality that we live in. Right? And so so in a relational space, when it's not good, because I now have to coexist with flawed. Now, in my coexisting with flawed, I get a chance to go to LeBron James's life. I get a chance to see Derek Triplet and Luann Triplet, and here he is, tall, dark, and handsome, and she's light skinned and and beautiful, and they're standing there, and he's got a tux on and she's got a dress on, and I'm looking at them going, well, doggone, I want to look like that. Right? I want my relationship to look like that. Now, people don't understand that the moment that the photo shoot was over, we wasn't speaking. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of times social media inhibits healthy relationships because we don't know how to be with a flawed person and not be dissatisfied.
Wow.
It's like when I discover you're flawed, I become dissatisfied with you. Right? And so now I pick up my phone, I go to Facebook, and I see people who seem satisfied. And I go, why can't I be satisfied?
Yes.
Well, they're living with flaw too. But they just posted. I can remember times that I've posted stuff about my family, and I've made a decision. I never post anything when I'm mad. I never post anything when I'm angry at my wife, my kids. Now I will post when I'm mad at the Republicans, right? But I will never post anything when I'm mad at my church. I'll never post anything when I've had a bad moment with another person. And here's why. Because and I'll say this, that I'll be Doug. I was supposed to be the host and not the conversation. Because when you post something, when you had a bad argument or you had a bad moment, your spouse is gonna see it. They're gonna see it. And they have no way of interpreting it any other way except you're talking about me. And so other people are going to then chime in and say, amen, you right. You better tell it. You are on it. And your spouse goes, this Negro just said it. There are times when you have to pursue happiness no matter what people say to you. Mm-hmm. So I think some of the challenges of that, and I think you're dead on it, man, that variety thing. But I think the other piece is that social media lets us escape, at least in the physical, the space of a flawed person.
Oh, definitely. But it also keeps people, because it takes away and it's dampened communication, people are staying in a situation longer than they should. Because you have the ability to escape, you use your escape mechanism often instead of understanding that maybe this is not, you wasted time that you can't get back.
Wow. Well, to our two experts tonight, what's your advice to people as they navigate social media in not just their personal relationships, but their social media relationships? What's your advice in making sure that those relationships stay healthy and stay functional and they don't become distracting?
I would say what you said, Bishop, earlier was very powerful. You cannot allow the flaws of someone you're with, whether it be relational or platonic, cause you to be dissatisfied. You can still be satisfied with flaws, because if you cannot be satisfied with flaws, you're going to be dissatisfied forever. And I think that if we don't understand that, we are always going to resent someone who's with us, who may really love us, not the idea of us, but really truly love who we are, but we have grown dissatisfied because their flaws have been materialized. Because for some reason, I don't know what it is, with friendships, it's usually maybe sometimes after 6 months to a year. With marriages, I feel like it's right after the wedding. I don't care if you go to the JLP, it's right as soon as you say I do, that's when it materializes. I don't know what it is about that, but that's when it happens. And so we have to be responsible, first of all, for our own peace, our own happiness. And we have to understand, like I said previously, that someone else's flaws is not grounds for our consistent dissatisfaction, because you can be disappointed and yet satisfied. So that is one thing that I would definitely tell people. And you have to know, I view social media so differently now. And it could be because I am super intentional with social media, especially Facebook, because Facebook is full of people from various eras of my life. I have people who I went to middle and high school with. I have college folks. And sometimes it's weird because, like, full transparency, my ex-boyfriend from college is getting married to someone who and so I'm on Facebook for a purpose. I'm on Facebook to help people, eliminate confusion around their personal brands. That's it. And I think that once I realized that, and sometimes I have to check myself, and I think it caused maturity will let you self-check and self-check authentically, because it's sometimes where I will feel that comparison. Like, now, see, my husband left his socks. All he had to do was put them in dirty clothes, and someone may post a picture of their husband's perfectly clothed, folded socks or whatever the case may be. But I have to check myself, and I'm thankful that I'm able to do that, because some people are so far gone in this black hole of what social media is. And I think that we all need a detox at some point. I don't care how we go about it. We have to really understand that we will look up in 10 years and realize that we have missed out on some of the best days of our lives because we were stuck on social media. And back when I was in college, social media was just becoming a thing. Like, you had to have a .edu face address to even have a Facebook. And so it wasn't, our cell phones couldn't capture everything like Facebook Live and things. And we really had a good time because we were in the moment. I feel like I have not experienced anything in my life like college, but I feel like that's partially because there was nobody to impress. We were who we were. And I think that if people are comfortable, if they learn to be comfortable with who they are, they can get better results from social media, and furthermore, better results from their relationships.
That's so big, and it's something you said, and then we'll turn to Trip. People need to be in love with you and not the idea of you.
That's good.
Yeah, that really spoke to me, because I think sometimes we are attracted to an idea, and we miss the person. I've discovered this, and the Trip, you can jump in, man. I discovered that who I'm not never cancels me for what I can give. That what I can give is not canceled by who I may not be. Because what I give is out of the purity of who I attempt to be every single day. And you said something that the Lord said to me in my prayer time. Don't wake up every day and not enjoy the day you're in. Because you'll wake up and everybody be grown and you would have missed life. Trip.
It's powerful, especially, you know, the connection of comments that you and Cornetta have just spoken, and this whole issue of being in the moment. You know, it's we're so bad now. We can't enjoy it without posting it.
That part.
That's huge, man.
You know, it's so people have met their death because they just couldn't enjoy the view from the cliff. They had to get a selfie from the cliff. And next thing you know, they're dead. You know, we just enjoy the moment and without the need to showcase it. Because you were talking about rules. And I think the other thing is that you need to communicate with your friends and family and communicate with your significant other, your approach to social media. You know, I had to start announcing to, you know, we had to put a social media protocol in our wedding ceremonies.
Yes,
you know,
you got to.
Have you, you know, I say it's not right that the first post of somebody else's wedding is from you. You're not the groom or the bride, but you're posting their wedding. Give them the privilege of posting their own wedding. And so we had to put that protocol in to say, hey, this couple has requested that nobody post about their wedding, photos or videos of their wedding until they do. Because people are too quick. I think the other thing you have to do is discuss what your approach is with your significant other. It's like, hey, I don't need that. You know, I don't need that. So now if they do, then y'all got some negotiation. You know, you got some. This happened to me once years ago. Before I remarried, I was hanging out with a friend of mine, and they had posted us hanging out, unbeknownst to me. And so my daughter, John, and your niece called me immediately. Daddy, this person has you on Facebook. I'm like, what? And so I had to address that particular thing that no, we're not going to post something and leave it up to interpretation. You know, you're not going to do that to me. And so it's very, very important that you discuss that. It's very important that we're mature. I think people have to become more mature. My dog wants to play. It's very important that we have to become more mature. I think finally I'll say this. Know that you're looking at a scene and not the whole movie. That's a scene. If it's a 5-minute video, 20-minute video, still shot, it's a scene. Why are you trying to build your movie off one scene of somebody else's life? And as Cornetta said earlier, that scene is a highlight. It is a highlight. And so I think it's very important to have that discussion. I think finally, we in the church have to, John, you said something years ago about, and you said Go scrub you told the people, go scrub your Facebook page because you don't want people relating to who you were. You want them relating to who you are. And so in many cases, that's what people have done. It's like, that's not, that was me 3 years ago. That's not me now. That's not me now. That's not who I am. And then finally, I will say, be a person before you try to be a brand. Like, can you just be a person?
Just be a person.
I want to get to know you. Who are you? Who are you? Not your brand. Who are you? Because I don't. If people are single, you don't want anybody to fall in love with your brand. You don't want anybody to marry your brand. You want them to be able to know you. So yeah, kind of just be a person and see where that goes. See where that goes. I'm a little tired of us just projecting our Facebook us. Our social media us, our Instagram us. Who is the person? And whoa, that's where the problem is. Maybe you're no more than what you post. And if what you post is all of you, it's either one of two things. Either you're too shallow or you're posting too much.
And that can happen. That can happen. Our time is up. But what I would love to do is to have you two come back, because I think that this kind of morphed into more than just social media conversation. It really kind of hit some very important spots in terms of how relationships and social media can interact negatively, but how they can also interact positively. Because there is a way that through social media, I can't celebrate my spouse or my friends or my special days. But I agree with you. I think that we have to do it in a way that is respectful of the person we're with, because they may not want a picture on social media. They may not feel comfortable with that. Or for them, social media may be too intrusive.
Right.
And they like the privacy of life. And I thought that was here's the funniest thing, then we got to go. Hey, Sharice. Ben Triplett said, he said, what the comment was about, don't post, you can't post, don't post every moment, whatever. I was about to say, I'm going to post that. That's good, boy. I'm going to post that right there. I'm going to post. You don't need to be doing all that posting. That's And listen, everybody, we want you to share NightCap.
Please share.
The most amazing co-host until my wife comes on, Dr. Sharice. We love you so much. Closing word, Dr. Sharice.
I don't have any.
And that's what you say after you vaccinated 60 people in one day.
My brain.
Listen, we want to thank you. Thank you, Ray, our executive producer. Lady K, amazing. Follow her. Go find All Classy. Right? Is that right?
All things class. I'm under an alias because I used to be in the classroom, so my students would find me all the time.
Okay. So go find her in her alias. She's an amazing gift in terms of helping people shape how they do what they do via social media. And she's got a little space for some clients, I suspect, or the right clients. Normally the right clients are the ones who pay. So if you want to advance if you want to advance yourself with grace, learn the skills yourself. But don't call her unless you got a check and you're gonna pay on time. And Derek Triplett is returning to the pastorate, and that's going to be an amazing time. And he is my favorite preacher. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. He's my favorite preacher, and I'm grateful to God for him. He does a lot of stuff on radio in the Orlando area. He's got some relationship stuff going on, and you're dropping some new stuff, some leadership stuff. Or
some new stuff is coming out, and some stuff on men. I'll do my my radio show tomorrow, WOKBradio.com, 12 to 2 tomorrow. We've been highlighting women all month because it's Women's History Month. And we usually do a funny question of the day. Last week's question of the day was, what do you have too much of that you already know you're going to buy some more?
Shoes.
Okay.
Somebody posted on social media, wigs.
Period. That's me.
And so we have a lot of fun. It's called Be Even Better Radio, and I'll be on tomorrow at noon.
And what was the answer to the question?
For me, the answer to the question was, I don't need one more t-shirt of nothing. I don't need one more, but I'll probably have plenty more.
No, you don't need another one. You don't. But listen, everybody, thank y'all for watching NightCap. Share this and all that kind of good stuff. This is one of the most impactful, content-driven shows on Facebook Live and YouTube. That's what we call it. And so I want to thank my lovely, amazing co-host. We'll be back next week, social media. So this is how we close, Trip and Lady K. We close with our own impromptu dance based upon music that we kind of just make up. So in 1, 2, 3, here we go. Da 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 da. There it is right there.
Bye, guys.
That's what you do when you can't afford outro music. You create your own. Y'all take care, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.